What is up, everybody? It's Joe from JLW Games, and I'm coming at you with another cool video, and we're back in Planet Coaster in Time City. Now, this is going to be kind of a slow-paced sort of episode. It's been a while since I've actually played Planet Coaster up until now, and I apologize for such the delay of episodes and just live streaming in general. I've been extremely busy with work and also with the thing going on with my dad as well. So that's been kind of really been holding up my schedule lately, so I do apologize for that, and hopefully I get freed up here pretty soon. So you're going to see a lot of back and forth within this episode. So we go back and forth between the hotel, and we also go kind of like to the monorail station. We're just kind of everywhere in this episode, so kind of bear with me. That's going to be kind of a crazy-ish kind of episode for right now, but it will all turn out very nicely, and I'm actually very pleased of kind of the detailing that turned out within this episode as well, because we get a little bit of the theming throughout the monorail station at the same time. So I'm hoping to plan it out and get some more episodes out of Time City. Time City is something that I need to get more episodes out of, because there's just more and more that I need to be focusing on this series as well. So another exciting thing in this episode, which it's not so exciting of what we get done, but we actually start on the weenie of the park a little bit, and that is the clock tower. It is going to be kind of connected within this front entrance area, but it will be the weenie of the park, and it is very, very large, and it's going to take a long time to actually detail and everything. So that is going to be very time consuming, but we will see exactly how that turns out. And I'm actually trying to figure out how I'm going to connect the hotel with the park as well. It's going to be a mixture of some path covers and just some cool designs that are going to go within this. Everything might change, and again, I want everyone to kind of keep in mind that stuff is never final, that I might actually end up changing quite a few things, as in redoing buildings or completely scrapping buildings sometimes and just redoing them if I am not satisfied with the way they look. So this is going to be the section where I actually work a little bit on the giant clock tower, and it's going to have a little bit of water around it, which will be kind of neat, and I want to actually put maybe a restaurant or some observation area at the top as well. So as of right now in this episode, all we kind of do is do a little gray boxing, as a lot of people call it, and all we do is kind of get the size and structure of the building. By no means is it's going to look very ugly at first, so just keep that in mind, that it's not going to be pretty. It's just going to be like this big block at first of a clock tower, and it will eventually turn into something more than that. So just keep that in mind, that it's not going to be as square, it's not going to be as boring looking as it is in its current state. So just keep that in mind while we're building through this. Everything will end up looking the way I want to eventually, but when I first start on buildings and stuff, they look very, very ugly, raw, and not much to them. So anyways, so there's still a lot to do on this clock tower. I just wanted to get it started because I knew I wanted it to be kind of connected with the entrance area. I want to try and make sure that I try to keep the park as nice and even as possible, so I want the front entrance to still get quite a bit of attention from guests, and that's what I'm hoping for. So I'm going to put a lot of attractions that are not rides within the entrance area of the park, and the only ride technically is the monorail. So but the entrance area is going to be your restaurant, a lot of different restaurants, different really cool areas, and of course you'll have the observation deck of the clock tower as well. It's going to be enterable eventually, so just keep that in mind, that we're going to make this thing enterable, and there's going to be nice stepways all the way to the top, since we don't have elevators or anything within the game. And I want to make a nice little observation area. I'm going to put a restaurant or something in there, some vista points, of course, so guests will take pictures and stuff, and it'll probably be I'm trying to debate where I want to put that observation area. I'll probably put it as high as I can, and I'm gonna again have a nice little eatery area in the inside and some vista points. Maybe I'll attract some guests into it, and that's the kind of the idea within that as well, and it'd be kind of a neat thing. So I tried to start getting a little bit of a clock started here, because it's too big of a clock for the end game one, so it's going to be a larger clock. And someone gave me the great idea to actually use video billboards, so it can actually be functional, like a functional clock, and it'll actually have be ticking and everything. That would actually be really neat. So I decided to hold off on that clock for now in this episode, because that actually gave me a really good idea, and it was actually a very good suggestion, and I hope to fulfill that suggestion as much as I can. So I'm going to be doing a lot of custom signage as well eventually. I'll probably have like a whole episode dedicated to that, where I'm actually going to be in Photoshop and making some of those signs within the park, which will be kind of cool. I don't have them done yet, but I'm going to use, I know I'm going to put the signs up, but I'm just going to have placeholders for now until I actually make those actual files, and those will be available in the Steam Workshop for download, of course, when it does come about. So that's way down the line, of course, but it's gonna be cool. And we got kind of work a little bit on this diagonal building. I might work on the pathing just a little bit more in the future. Right now it's just kind of because I do want to add on a little bit to that. We do a little bit of details for the front of the building. I don't do much with this building just yet, but it's gonna be a nice little eatery. Not really an eatery or anything like that. It's gonna actually, I decided to put like lots of different drinks in there. Like it has so it has a soda, gulpy soda. It has Street Fox coffee, Cosmic Cow milkshakes and stuff. So it's gonna be like a nice little drinking spot, and I might add even more inside the building as well. Again, I want to put as many attractions throughout this main street as I can, even if it is like food shops and stuff, because I do want to spread the guests out as much as I can. So a lot of guests will be hanging out in the entrance area of the park. A lot of people will be hanging out in the other sections of the park as well. So that's going to be the idea with it. And I'm going to have to do a lot of testing with the monorail. I hope the guests will spread out throughout the different sections accordingly, and that's my hopes. If not, I will probably end up doing some sort of like small pathways to connect the sections together. That way, if guests want to walk, they can as well, but I would still make it very heavily themed, like a tunnel or something like that has a lot of special effects, like you're walking through time or something like that. If I do end up making walkways, which I feel like in the end I will end up doing, but we'll see for right now after I do some tests, and we'll see exactly how all that will turn out in the long run in the end. So this was, again, a very fun episode. I just kind of chilled out and just kind of, didn't rush anything, and I just wanted to go in and just kind of build detail and not rush anything, and I kind of want to keep that the same with throughout the series, and maybe if I keep doing that, I can just do like longer episodes or something. That way I still get a lot done. I felt like I really made some progress, even though I didn't make a whole lot of progress, if that makes sense, because I did do a lot of detailing, took my time to detail, and just not rushing stuff. And that's the idea for this a little bit of this series, is it's to challenge me to not rush and move on too quickly. And I know I've been notorious for that, and I know a lot of us always end up being guilty for that, but I'm going to try my best, my darndest, to not really move on until I feel it's right to move on to the next part of the park. So I know a lot of people are very excited to get into the different sections of the park. I am as well, trust me. Like, it is killing me not to move on and work on some of the other sections of the park yet. But I just don't want to rush into things, and I know a lot of people agree that rushing stuff is never a good sign. You want to take your time, really just get everything built properly and make it look the way that it was meant to be, and you just want to make sure you make it the way that you envisioned it, and that's my goal. and I don't want to do anything to ruin that aspect of the park, because I was doing so well, and I do it so much in my parks, is I get a good start, nice detailing within the first part of the park, and then I kind of just rush through the rest of it because I'm so excited to try and get the park complete. And that's not the way to do it, because if you do it that way, you're going to be a little disappointed with how your park turns out. So with Westwood and Arrow Valley, I found that kind of happened a little bit, and I'm attempting to kind of fix it throughout the years. So like each season, I've actually been adding more details to buildings and different things like that. So I'm slowly getting those parks a little bit more to its completed state like it was supposed to be in the first off. Like Westwood this year, I've been adding, of course, some new things to that. I've been adding different details on some buildings, and I've also, of course, with the 2018 edition of the coaster and with Canyon Runner, and I also added some priority passes as well to some of the coasters. That's something that was missing that a lot of people thought I needed to have. So, but anyways, into the building now. This is actually the first queue line section, the first switchback section of the monorail station. So I wanted to try and theme this up a little bit. So there's a lot of theming going into it. I'm not going to put on any roofs until I get all the theming done on the inside. That way I don't have to, figure out how all that works, because that gets a little bit of, would become a little bit of a pain in the butt to actually have to worry about. So we go in, and I want to add like just random gears in different sections. I think that's a cool idea, just to have a couple hanging from some beams and stuff. I'm going to have some gears not actually even move, which will be nice. Some of them will move, some of them won't. I'll have some on the walls, and then of course I'm going to be doing some custom signage throughout the building as well, as you will see later on within the time lapse, that we actually do get some custom signs in there. And I just have a Planet Coaster logo placeholder until we actually get the actual sign made. So just keep those in mind. I'm going to be trying doing more of those, so we have, it really makes the park look a little bit more original and organic, and a little bit less like it looks like it's from Planet Coaster at the same time. I also want to try and put my hand in on trying to make some custom gears as well, because there's only like the 2 different gears in Planet Coaster, and those are getting a little bit too old, and I know I add quite a few of them within this, so you got to keep that in mind, that those are going to start getting old soon. So I'm going to have to try and, I mean, they won't be like rotating like these, but like some of them, but I'm going to have to do something about that eventually. And as you can see, this is my first custom sign that will be going in, and it's just going to say different things like, the wonders of time travel or something like that. It's just going to have like different signs of that go within the theme. And then I worked on a little bit of light work on some of the gears, because I'm going to try and keep the gears nice and lit with some nice cool colors, with some blues, some purples, and different colors like that, to really kind of light those up in the dark. And then with just some nice lighting throughout the queue line. Of course, I want to try and keep everything nice and lit up. So especially, I wanted to make it just as magical in the daytime as it is at night. So we want to make sure we have some nice lighting throughout the park as well. So that's something else that I'm going to be looking forward to within the theming as well, and the lighting. Just as much as the theming, it has to be really good and top-notch as well. So we'll keep that in mind as well. And of course, another custom sign will go in over here, and just again, some custom signs throughout the building. Actually add quite a bit of theming throughout the building without even having to do too much effort, I feel. And I wanted to put this little alarm thing, because you're about to go into that section, which we might get into the next episode of a little bit of theming, but that will be cool. And I really liked these little lights here. I don't know how well they don't light up the area pretty well, but I might add in some lighting underneath the pathways to illuminate, to make it look like they give out a little bit more light. But we'll see exactly how that will turn out. It looked out. I just like the lighting on those, and to keep the building lit up on the inside. That's going to be cool. So Yeah, so this theming throughout the building is going to be really good. I'm hoping, at least, and I hope that you guys are enjoying the theming that's starting to come in. So I can't wait to go through the theming through the rest of the entire park as well, because we're going to be into completely different theming once we get to the actual sections of the park. This theming's the way it is right now. It's going to be the way it is. And then, of course, when you get to, like, the Jurassic section, you're going to have a lot of dinosaurs and, a lot of different structures like that and architecture. And it's going to be really cool. So we went back to the hotel a little bit over there just for a couple split seconds. And then I wanted to do a little more detailing at the clock tower as well. I wanted to make it tall enough to where you're going to be able to see it throughout the entire park. I know I have a big fascination with clock towers. It's kind of like our signature thing at JLW Entertainment. I know that I held myself back on Arrow Valley, didn't put one in Arrow Valley, so that's a thing. And but there had to be a giant clock tower for this one. There just had to be. And I did a little bit experimentation with the first set, a little bit of some detailing within this clock tower. It's going to have a nice little topper piece here, and I might change the roof on the top of that as well, and maybe put like something else at the top of there. I'm not entirely sure. I want to decorate the roof just a little bit more. It just seems kind of bland right now, so we'll see and go once we get into the future. As you can tell, it's very blocky right now. That won't be the case. There'll be a lot of changes. But anyways, that's about it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe for more amazing content like this, and I'll catch you guys next time. Have a great day and an even cooler tomorrow. Thanks, and goodbye.